when you see some of these things, what do you make of it? This for me
It's, for me, it shows how loose our regulatory system has been over the years. It also saddens me because as a farmer and a lover of seafood or river food, we cannot continue to enjoy our rural areas survive mainly on this kind of water, and they use it for their livelihoods, activities, and we can't use this polluted water for agriculture. The residue that it will leave on the food, and we consume most of this food in raw states. So it's something that personally saddens me that as a country, over the past 10 or 12 years, we've gotten to this level. But let me also commend the EPA leadership for taking this decisive decision. Just as we were saying, I think they should multiply their team to visit multiple places at the same time, so to make sure that they are actually curtailing any kind of movement of this machinery. But we also want to see to a long term how the strategy to close down these places will work, and if they wouldn't only multiply in other zones. So the chamber will be following this thoroughly, but let me commend them for taking this action.
But it also begs the question about supervision, because you heard clearly they've renewed one of their permits. How was the permit renewed? Who went there to check whether or not they were operating according to the license or the permit they were given, such that it could be renewed again? You know,
that's another thing about our regulatory processes, and how the whole system has been cascaded. We don't know if at the district level the permits are issued there, or at the regional level, or at the national level of EPA. But whichever way it is, it also begs the question that we do not do physical checks before issuing out permits, because.
But they put a lot of stress on Ghanaian businesses.
Yes, like we experience.
It will be on the person's neck.
Yes,
blah blah blah.
the small scale businesses that are doing fruit juice and others will have to go through long process, government certification system before finally. So the processes where Ghanaians themselves have to go through to secure permits to be able to work is so strenuous. But fortunately, foreigners are able to do that easily. But we are not saying it should be difficult for them. It should be made easy for everyone.
Yeah.
But the right thing should be done.
Must be done, yes.
Yes, you must go there, physically inspect, and take stock of what is there, and make sure that what the permit is being given to do is doing exactly so, and not below or above it.
Let's come back to our food discussion. So, was saying earlier, you mentioned that our consumption for rice is 1.2 million, right?
Yeah.
And then already, what?
No, the consumption is 1.8.
1.8.
Yeah.
And then already they've imported 1.2 million into the country.
Yes.
Our local production you mentioned is also around 800, 1.2.
Yes.
It means that if we do say 800, the remainder is 400,000.
Yes, of course.
If we do 1 million, the remainder is, okay, you said the consumption is 1.8.
Yes.
So if we do 800,000, it is 1 million you import in. If you do 1.2 and we are also doing, say, 1 million, then where
so this is the challenge with the rice issue. Now, there are 2 or 3 issues here. First, I mentioned earlier that the smuggling that is coming in.
Yeah.
So the data that is showing of 1.2 million has not captured the smuggling. So you don't know whether it's 200,000 that is smuggled in. Now, if the ban on grain export wasn't in place, what would have been seen is that would have been exporting some of our grains out of the country, especially to Nigeria. You know, Benin is actually the largest importer of rice in Africa. And majority of this goes to Nigeria. So Nigeria consumes quite a huge quantity of rice. And we also export, as I speak, I do know some of our members have contracts to supply other countries, okay? And some of them are in Asia, America, and even within the sub-region, but they can't do that because of the ban. So if the ban is lifted, then it gives the farmers and the aggregators some leeway to alleviate the challenges facing farmers currently. Now, what we're also saying is that, look, let's repeal the ban, repeal the LI. While we do that, put in a 3-month moratorium on rice importation. Let's take stock of what we currently have, especially what we have produced as Ghanaians. Yeah. Let's take stock on them. Then let's see how many milled rice are out there, how many milled rice are actually kept at the warehouses of the processing factories, and how many paddies is actually on the field that have not been, because people are not harvesting, because if they harvest, they don't know where to send it to. Yeah. So there'll be a lot of post-harvest losses, okay? Already we are counting post-harvest losses to be above $3.5 billion. Now, if we continue for additional 1 month, this is likely to have an untold story or impact with regards to the farmers. And we are talking about every input that we use in agriculture food are all imported. So we import and produce, and we are not able to. So there is also some losses because we're using the cedi to buy dollars to import. And that's why we clearly say that in agriculture, the moment you plow the land, you must plant and you must harvest and you must sell. That is the only way you are in business. And if I buy inputs, I plow land, I plant, and I can't harvest because there is nowhere to keep them, look at the quantity of paddies that are here, and they'll struggle to look for buyers or even places to warehouse them. I mean, it's so sad. So sad.
This is huge. This is huge. But let's do a personal one. You're a farmer yourself.
Yeah.
What's your story? How many do you have in the warehouse you don't mean so? Because I'm told that we have, produce, maize, soybean, rice from the last harvest.
Exactly.
And we're about to harvest this season. So what's your story?
So that actually makes the situation double impact.
Yes. Yeah.
Edge sword. Now, I did maize this year, 700 acres. And even though there were little challenge with the rain earlier in the year, we deployed irrigation, the boom sprayer. We were able to spray across board, and we harvested. But unfortunately, at the point of harvesting, just about 3 weeks when we started contacting our normal buyers, they said they have stock. Where do they get stock from when we haven't harvested in the south yet? They imported. In fact, as we speak, even some of the people who have imported are also struggling to sell because there are a lot of these imports in the system. So in my warehouse, I have quite a large amount of maize in Somanya. We brought most of them to Somanya, and we are struggling to sell. You know, Somanya have a lot of poultry farms, dotted, Dodowa, all that enclave. And our idea was to bring it down close to Accra and sell it, but we are struggling to sell. I receive calls every day, help us to sell our maize, help us to sell our rice. I receive calls from BA, from Ashanti region, as for Northern region, it's terrible. I know we have received calls of an impending demonstration that is going to happen because they are so frustrated. Volta region from Apipe, Veta, and all the enclave, and it's a very terrible situation.
Someone was telling me some time ago when this whole discussion came up that maybe government is allowing importation just to check for the inflation. Would that be a good way to handle it?
No. Let's be clear.
Because the more they produce, the cheaper the price will become, right?
No. It doesn't work like that.
Really?
Yes. Because as a farmer, if I'm not a smallholder farmer, so I'll not be able to, assuming they spend $1,007 per acre, I want to make sure that I recoup that $1,007. I'm not going to sell below that price. Now, if you look at the current price, 500 kg, 500 cedis for 50 kg, as buffer stock have set up the base price, and the same to the rice, the paddy. You realize that the price should have been up by now, about 700 plus, okay? We've seen at the time of production, fuel prices were a bit high. We've seen the forest at the time was high, so farmers paid a higher amount for the seeds, for the fertilizers and the agrochemicals that they used. So you expect that we should be able to make even. But as we speak, even for soya, the prices have plummeted to around 400 and keep going down because the local market doesn't exist. So we are working around to see what kind of interventions, but clearly speaking, I think that a lot have to be done. Government, Ministry of Food and Agriculture have to come clear with the strategy to make sure that our next season production, for me, that is a major concern to me because if we do not handle the current situation carefully, that has a possible impact on how next season production will look like.
How do you think government can deal with this effectively to ensure that the glut we have been cleared?
Well, we have over 2,700 secondary schools across the country, and we've maybe more than 500,000 or 1 million students. What's the government waiting for? Ministry of Food and Agriculture, buy for them. It's the taxpayers' money, belongs to Ghanaians. We pay the tax. We struggle as farmers to also produce, okay, and we pay taxes. So buy our locally produced rice and maize and give it to our children in schools. Don't give them imported maize and rice. No. In every country, you protect your farmers. So we are saying that, look, the Ghanaian rice is more nutritious, it's healthy, and you enjoy it better than thinking of using all the so-called rice that we import. Especially, people talk about perfume rice. Ghana's perfume rice is one of the best. When you go to a rice farm and you are even 500 meters away from the rice farm, you can smell perfume rice and you think somebody is cooking rice on the farm. Yeah. No one is cooking rice. It's rice that is under production. Yeah. And I mean, all people out there, try and visit farmlands and visit the processing sector, factories, and see what they do. We are struggling to survive. We are struggling to make sure that we feed this country. Yeah. And when we toil, we also expect our fellow Ghanaians to correspondingly appreciate the sacrifice we are putting in place.
Yeah. But one thing we did was to set up something we call Inspire. Inspire is to, as you say, people should visit farms.
Yes.
So we take people to the farms of our clients and processing factories so that you see where, for example, rice is being produced for you. So MVV Foods is one of our clients.
Okay.
We take people to their farms and to their processing factory around the Suchari area. Yes. And you get to see what Ghanaians are doing in farming, you know. Then you can also appreciate, because, for example, today, there are a lot of rice on the market, which is 4.25. A Ghanaian processor will produce rice at 5 kg, proper 5 kg. And then the Ghanaian consumer is expecting the same Ghanaian producer to sell 5 kg at the same price as 4.25, imported from Indonesia. Why? So we should appreciate it. I hope that people will take advantage of the Inspire, come to the farms and see what's happening.
And that's the standard I'm referring to. One of the standards we need to look at. You are buying 5.4, 4.4, 4.2, and it's selling cheaper, and you think that 5 kg is more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghanaians ought to open up their minds to see the marketing strategy that is being used. Standards Authority ought to take some good look at that. Pricing across board cannot be done in terms of the way it's being done. If it's 5 kg and it went through Standards Authority and it's approved, it must be 5 kg. And you don't send 5 kg to Standards and get a certification and a license and on the market, your product is 4.2, 4.5 kg. That is absolute crime being perpetrated to the consumers.
Yeah.
And any foreign rice that is doing that must all be confiscated.
So the proposal I hear you give is that buffer stock should come in to buy the produce, right?
Yes.
That's one of the proposal. Two is that Ghanaians should go for the Ghanaian produce.
Certainly.
No matter what it is.
Yes.
Because you are empowering Ghanaian farmers and keeping the money in the Ghanaian economy.
Exactly. And you see, with buffer stock, we don't want a repeat of the previous buffer stock.
Okay.
We will follow them. We will follow them. We will join hands with JoyNews. We will go to the warehouses. We will personally be interested in what quantity of goods they are purchasing, where they are purchasing from, and we expect them to build data showing that they bought this quantity from this place, and we will want to see all the amount that is being given them being used to purchase. Because at the end of the day, we can't be struggling and making appeal to His Excellency the President, and the President giving money, and the money is being used for something else. The money must be used to purchase goods, rice, maize from farmers, and it must be only that and nothing else.
And government is the biggest buyer, right?
Of course.
The government can buy all the produce and farmers.
Certainly.
So government, please try and come to the rescue of farmers. They've invested too much energy, resources, and they can't, lose hope in farming in the country by watching their produce go waste on their farms. As Anthony said, some people do not even want to harvest because they don't know what to sell them. They can also watch their produce go waste in their warehouses. So, government, you are the biggest spender. Get buffer stock to intervene. Buy from these farmers so that at least there will be that inspiration and encouragement for younger people like myself to say, we want to also go into farming. That's the best way this can be dealt with. I'm grateful to you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Before we go, maybe you have last words.
Well, I want to say that we are very confident in the system that the government will come to our aid. At the same time, we commit to working with government to make sure that we provide a lasting solution to the current glut that we are facing. We want to remind government about our request. We want a comprehensive audit of the rice sector, especially all the brands that are on the market, to make sure that we are not having substandard, and we are also, Ghanaians are also not buying smuggled in rice, which are benefiting some cartels. And we want to make sure that also government repeal the LI on the restriction on export, and government must come clear with a quota system. Every year, government must set it out. We are allowing 200,000 imports of rice this year. Next year, we expect that rice to come down so that we will be able, in the next 4 to 5 years, wipe out rice importation and make Ghanaians invest in what they eat and invest in what they produce.
All right, thank you very much. Anthony Morrison is a farmer and the executive, the CEO, right, of the Chamber of Agribusiness. Ghana. Thank you for coming. Well,